Welcome to the first episode of Brother to Brother, uh, a reimagining, a reinstallment of formerly the Three Man Weave. With me, as always, is my brother CB DaBully, owner, head barber at Bully's Cuts and Styles in Denver, Colorado. I'm your boy EB, owner, creator, designer of In My Bag Apparel, streetwear brand that collaborates with talented artists from around the country to bring really dope art to you at a reasonable price. This here is just our chance to get together. We have some distance between us, so we get our chance to get together, chop it up, talk sports, talk life, talk entrepreneurship. Basically, what we did is we took things that used to be text messages and FaceTimes and turned it into a podcast. And so
That's exactly how that happened.
Yeah.
B2B, bag bullies, Brad Fields, brothers, we in there.
B2B.
B2B.
Let's get started with Sunday Night Football, man. The 49ers beat the Cowboys 30-24. Not as close as it looked. Dak got picked off twice. A couple just errant throws. Jordan Mason for the 49ers, the running back, ended up leaving with an injury. But his replacement, Isaac Guerrero, I think is his name, came in, did work. 102 all-purpose yards. Also got his first touchdown of his NFL career. He's a rookie this season. Brock Purdy runs and throws for a touchdown. Your boy, I know you want to talk about him, your boy George.
George Kittle went crazy.
6 catches, 128 yards, and a touchdown on National Tight End Day. They made sure to let that be known all day.
Fuck yeah.
CeeDee Lamb did some work for the Cowboys. 13 receptions, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns. Both of the ones that Dak threw. Cowboys lose again. They're last in the division. People are panicking. I just saw Bubba Dub he wasn't even talking about football at some point. He was so pissed off. He was talking about chicken spaghetti and things like that. Like, the Cowboys got Bubba Dub all fucked up, so I'd imagine Cowboys fans all around are kind of on fire right now, and I love it.
Yeah, man. Struggle bus.
We had some hoops today as well. 76ers beat the Patriots, or the Pacers, 118-114. This got both teams to 1-2. Not really what we expect from either one of these teams coming out of the gates. This being Philly's first win of the year. Still no PG, no Embiid, but the Tyrese's balled out. Philly Reese dropped a smooth 45, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, added 2 blocks and a steal. Did have 5 turnovers though. Indy Reese hit the 3 to send the game into overtime. I think he finished with 22. Ultimately missed a free throw that basically sealed the deal for the Sixers. But hopefully brighter things on the horizon for both of these teams. On our little fantasy basketball league, I have both Tyrese's, so I got a solid game to end the week from Maxey. But we'll talk a little bit more about him later. But just with these Sixers, Maxey's doing his thing, but he's not going to be able to do it by himself, and we'll get more into that a little later on.
I believe the Bucks lost to freaking Brooklyn, bro.
By what, 13?
Yeah, man.
And as expected,
Kumba only had 22, 7 for 11. He had 12 rebounds. Damian Lillard even had 21.
Yeah, but he was 5 for 21 or 5 for something like it. Just
terrible. Yeah, 2 for 8 and 2 for 6 from 3-point range.
But as expected from Brooklyn, Cam Thomas, 32 points. They're not going to see a lot of wins this year, but Cam Thomas is going to see a lot of buckets. Your boy Dennis Schroeder also chipped in with 29. Ben Simmons, a solid 2, 6, and 6. Himself a game. And
outside of jumper?
No. I don't know what. Everybody probably just left the court and let him get on by himself. But outside of, Freak, Brook Lopez, and Bobby Portis, who had 16 and 10 off the bench for Milwaukee, everybody struggled. This year too, the Bucks have yet to get in the win column so far in this young NBA season. The Nets are now 1-2. The full season, I was wondering what would come of Milwaukee getting a full training camp with Doc Rivers They brought in Rajon Rondo.
Torian Prince.
And they're still missing Chris Middleton. They do need another scorer out there, but some people have Milwaukee as a sleeper. I don't see them being better.
Not a sleeper, but I'm not invested, but I'm watching Milwaukee, man. Are they gonna just keep, getting worse? Is Middleton gonna be what they need to get back? I don't know. It's not looking good for Pop and them right now. I mean, for Doc and them right now. But we'll see. I'll be watching that.
Another team it didn't look good for is the Pelicans got smoked by the Trailblazers, 125-103.
Young boys ain't playing. Y'all better put some respect on Trailblazers' name.
Jeremy Grant dropped 28. Anthony Simons added 27 of his own. Donovan Clingan, a rookie, 9 and 9 and 2 blocks in 13 minutes. You gotta love seeing that from the lottery pick.
For sure.
BI struggled in this one. Zion's kind of, he's still trying to figure it out. He didn't play the first game of the season for them. CJ
What's he trying to figure out? Like, what is he trying to figure out now?
You come back from injury, you just gotta get your sea legs, man. Why are you so mad at Zion?
Okay, what injury is he coming back from?
I don't know. He's always hurt though. He's coming back from something.
He looks like if he walked too hard, it hurt.
At least he playing. Where's Kawhi? We'll get into that too. Thunder killed the Hawks 128-104. Shea's hooping 35, 11, and 9. Chet also balling 25, 9 rebounds, and 6 blocks.
This is what the Nuggets should be looking like for real.
How? They don't have that kind of size or youth or speed.
They're just taking their place in the West, it feels like.
J-Dub added 20 points. Caruso did a little bit of everything, filled up the stat sheet. Thunder remain undefeated. Hawks dropped to 2-1, which I was surprised to see they're at 2-1. Do you think Trae Young stays in Atlanta past the trade deadline?
Not if he's serious about contending. Honestly, I don't know. I can see him being a better role player than the star of the team, honestly.
Oh yeah,
and a big role player, like the third, second option somewhere, he could be crucial.
I agree with that. Where do you think that would be? I saw something that said Denver's to trade for him.
DeBall? Well, it's too late. 4 years.
You have to be for DeBall or MPJ.
MPJ, shooter for shooter type shit. I can see him going to.
I'm not doing that.
I can see him going to San Antonio.
Yeah, I mean, maybe. They got Stephon Castle, the young rook they just drafted. PG's there helping show him the way too. And they have Trey Jones, the other, Tyus Jones' little brother. But maybe. Why would they draft Stephon Castle though? I know they talked about that in the offseason. I think some last year we talked about it, but
that's where I just see him being a good second or third option, really. Who could use somebody like that? Maybe the Bulls. I don't know if they give up too much for him.
The Bulls, you don't think they're kind of in rebuild mode like Atlanta, though? Like Zach LaVine probably.
I mean, Trae with Lonzo and LaVine might be better than Trae's situation now.
That's just 3 guards. 2 that don't play defense, though. How does that work on the court?
I'm just shouting out plays. Where do you think Trae should go?
I'm not the biggest Trae Young fan, so I don't see him.
Me neither, nigga. You asked me. Yeah. I was just rattling off teams where he,
those teams. Brooklyn.
Word.
Brooklyn or Toronto.
Get the fuck out of here is what you're saying.
I don't really care where he goes. I just know it's like if he's just the second, third option, cool. But if it's trying to be like a star for star kind of thing, somebody's gonna get the short end of that deal, and it's gonna be whoever gets Trae Young.
Yeah.
Maybe Darius Garland for Trae Young. Send him to Cleveland. Play with Donovan Mitchell. Utah seems like a Trae Young place.
It's disrespectful.
What does that mean? Why?
To both places. Why do you think Trae's a Utah player?
wrong with Utah? First of all, like they just got a hockey team. UFC fighters love it out there. Like Utah is booming. Utah's on the come up. They like what? Why can't he be a Utah type?
Trey's a good place. That's a good place for trading.
Yeah.
Okay. Work. Utah. Shout out.
Yeah.
Give up Jordan Clarkson.
Clarkson would probably be part of that deal.
Yep.
Get Jordan in Atlanta. They also had, they got the number 1 overall pick down there, Zachary Risachet. He had 13. He had an okay game, I guess. Clippers beat the Warriors. I forgot to write the stats down for this, but Steph goes out with an injury is really the important part to think about. Tweaked his ankle twice in this game. Tweaked the second time, coming back into the game from tweaking it the first time. So he limped off the court into the locker room before the game was over. I think it was like halfway through the fourth quarter.
Did you see it? Did you see how bad the roll was?
No, I didn't get to see it. I was watching the Cowboys Niners game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have to look more into that. But that didn't can't be good or can be great. Steph goes out, doesn't play many games.
You see that behind the back pass he thought Clay was gonna be at?
Yeah.
Yeah, the internet blew that up.
They move off of like Kuminga and Andrew Wiggins, get some high draft picks for next year, and retool. Steph comes back. This could be a blessing in disguise for the Warriors. They're 2-1, so it's not like they haven't played really bad yet. They just lost. Steph went down. That's going to change things, but I don't see too much promise in them as constructed for the rest of the season either.
Exactly.
Even without this injury.
Yeah, it's early, man. It's real early. We'll see what happens.
We got to talk a little bit about the champs, man. They dominated the Knicks on ring night, tied the record for threes in the game. We can talk about the 8 minutes they went without making one to beat the record, which didn't end up happening. They look like they picked up where they left off, even without Kristaps Porzingis. They have a revenge tour going on for Tatum and Brown. So we know
I can see them going 10-11-0 for sure.
Oh yeah, they could start off on quite the streak. We know we're gonna get out of those guys, but those others are out here balling to start the year. Derek White had 24 in the season opener, 19 in the second game. Drew Holiday had 18 in the opener. Al Horford, old ass, had double figures in the opener. Like, they're firing on all cylinders. Sam Hauser's doing his thing. Peyton Pritchard's still hooping. Like,
having a player like Derek White and Drew Holiday is phenomenal, man. It's crazy for organizations. Just, they're so humble. They sit down on defense and can score the rock.
Put on their heart, go to work, man. Like,
yep. And
every team would love to have those kind of players.
And they're smart for not blowing up the roster the next year.
Yeah, any of those years when people were calling for it. Like, there's been plenty of years when people were talking about break up Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
This is the only way to to have longevity and to create a dynasty is to keep your team together. You saw the Warriors do it. They kind of created new rules to make it difficult to do. Celtics spent a lot of money to keep 13 of last year's 15 players. Just brought in a couple young guys, a couple rookies, but that puts you ahead of the game when you have that many guys coming back, and that rarely happens for any team, let alone the defending champs.
Yeah, I wish the Lakers would take a page out of that book. I saw Dwight Howard just sit down with Jeannie. Did you see that interview?
I didn't see the interview, but I saw it happen.
Yeah, man, and he questioned her about what happened the next year, and she said, "You signed with who? The Sixers or something?" Mm-hmm. She said, "You signed with Philly." He's like, "Oh well, my agent at the time said you guys didn't have an offer for him." She's like, "That's not true. You just didn't hear an offer yet." Like, damn.
Shit.
He's like, me and JaVale thought we figured that y'all just weren't gonna re-sign us. Like, damn, y'all really took the L on that. But Dwight Howard's been courtside. He's been hashtagging Lake Show and shit on the shit. It'll be weird if they give that motherfucker another shot. But hey, we need bigs.
Yeah.
We need bigs that play defense. I kind of with it for real.
I saw, and we'll get into some Laker talk. Let's just get into Lakers now. Undefeated. Played well on a back-to-back.
Played well. Back to back.
AD has been the best player every game outside of what LeBron did on Saturday night.
Best big man in the league as we speak.
30 a game for the big fella. Dominating the boards. Got his first win against Domantas Sabonis.
Beat Sabonis.
But LeBron, 32, 14, and 10?
Year 22. Triple-double.
I
don't know what it is, but it's called the DeMar DeRozan curse.
Also,
every time he looks at him, he's reminded of what he used to do to the Raptors.
Gotta be it.
Fucks him up in the second half.
Also, we've talked a lot about who needs to step up and who needs to be these 20-point scorers and what places that each player on this team needs to have. Never mind. I've been saying 14 to 17 for LeBron, close to that triple-double. If he's going to be the dude, he had 23 the night before.
Never mind.
If Brown's going to be the dude still getting 25, then the rest of those dudes can stay around that 14, 15 a game range and just step it up in other areas if LeBron is going to do this. And, it's just...
That's the beautiful thing about it. He doesn't have to do this. I believe a code was cracked with JJ Redick seemingly and simply just saying, shoot more.
Right.
Just shoot more. I mean, that's the only way to stay with modern times when it comes to basketball. And we've seen the production when they're careless, not in a bad way, but shoot the ball. AD, huge three-pointer without having to think about it because his coach wants him to. It's so good to have a coach that knows what it's like to hit threes and what a three-pointer could do in today's league. We just got to keep the ball rolling. I'm trying not to get too excited, but we try not to make the play-in tournament. We try to be 3rd, 4th, 5th in the West.
They look good right now, and you talk about them needing another big. I did see rumors of them maybe trying to see if they can get Walker Kessler from the Jazz, who's been great defensively to start the year. That'd be
sound,
and it'll give you those answers to matchups that'll have Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein, or Naz Reid and Rudy Gobert, or Cat and Mitchell Robinson when he comes back. This will combat those kinds of lineups. This will give you answers, 2 bodies to put towards Joker. So I don't know if it'll happen, but it's a better idea than Koloko, who still hasn't been cleared to play as far as I know.
Yeah, no, I like what's happening. It's fucking nice. Unlike what's going on with your Denver boys.
Exactly. One of the teams, along with one of the teams we talked about earlier, to not have the Bucks to not have a win yet on the season. The only bright spot for this team is basically the Joker. Murray looks like he did in the Olympics and towards the end of last season. They look old, slow, out of place, uncoordinated at times. The turnovers have been atrocious. There's not a lot to say that the Nuggets have done well so far this year.
I don't know, man. The bench is trash. I mean, they don't have anybody that could really get them on the runs. They were really good at running. They really had a team that could get the squad amped, to get the ball arena amped to, 3-4 plays in a row. Even going back to Jeff Green, he'll hit a 3 or dunk on somebody, get the whole squad involved. Or KCP with a 3 in the Lakers series, you know what I'm saying, to get them on a run and going. Or Bruce Brown to grab a big board and the putback twice in a row, or dunk it on somebody's face. I think they're missing the leadership factor, and I don't know. I wish Russell Westbrook could be that, but there's a sense that he's just there to do his job.
That's all those things you named sound like a Russell Westbrook job, and
right.
I think that's why we talked about who this Denver Nuggets starting lineup should be. I think that's why Russ should be in the starting lineup. You start the game with that kind of energy, with the starters, getting you and you can run a combination of. And I was going to say this. We're going to talk about some of the players who've gone to different teams this year. You do a pick and roll, pick and pop with any of the combination of Jamal Murray and Russell Westbrook, Joker and Russell Westbrook, MPJ and Russell Westbrook, Aaron Gordon and Russell Westbrook. That it'll work for one, and you get Russ with a full head of steam running up and down the court in the full court off of rebounds, loose balls, things like that. Like to start a game rather than bringing him in with some other guys that really can't hoop like that. It'll get Jamal going. You play him off the ball a little bit more. You put the ball in Russell's hands, let him get in the paint, let him work. Like I just maybe they'll change to this at some point if things keep going the way that they're going. But I think that's why Russ, and he talked about this when he signed with Denver. He hasn't been able to be special in how long in some of these other places he's been. There's an opportunity in Denver for him to do it.
They gotta let him do that, you think?
He's got to be with the starters to be able to do something like that. He's not going to be able to do Russell Westbrook kind of things with what this bench looks like. But if he can free up Joker to have to not make all of the plays, get shots for everybody else on the court, and get his own and get out in the open court, why not infuse that in the starting lineup and give that jump start right away?
Yeah.
In year 17 for Russell Westbrook.
Russell Westbrook, 2 points, 0 for 8. 0 for 3 from 3-point range, 2 points.
There were situations like there was with the Clippers to bring Russell Westbrook off the bench. He probably should have came off the bench with the Lakers too, which ended up happening eventually.
Right.
But with this Denver team, I think Russell Westbrook should be in the starting lineup.
I agree.
All right, man. Let's get to.
I went crazy on them fools.
Yeah.
7 for 11 in 3-point range, 37 points. Yeah, man. That's going to be his squad till Kawhi show
up. Let's get on to our next new segment called The B List. This is our watch list of NBA teams. Not like our usual, obviously we're going to watch Nuggets, we're going to watch Lakers, but just some other teams to keep an eye on throughout the season. Originally, I was going to have the Knicks on my list, but I feel like they lost that, fun, gritty underdog feel.
You don't want to watch them. You don't want to watch them as much anymore
since they made the cat trade. Like this travels with him for me apparently. But for me, he bitches too much. He's a little soft. I just hope that the Knicks can infuse what they started and built last year into him, rather than him infecting the team with his cattiness.
Yeah, he's gonna have to ride the subway to the games or something. I don't know. You gotta get some Timberlands or something, man. They gotta get them tough over there, dog.
Something's gonna happen. Oh, on side note though, another reason that I kind of wanted to put him in the list. Did you see the ads they did for the Wu-Tang Dunks that has Jalen Brunson and Mikal Bridges they're ordering ice cream?
No, I didn't see that.
It's a cool little advertisement thing for those Wu-Tang Dunks coming back out.
Yeah.
All right, but give me your first team on your on the B list.
The Wolves. This is one of my teams that I see as being a contender. It's fun to watch. They do have, it feels like a chip on their shoulder. Anthony Edwards is coming into his own even more as a superstar in this league. His mouthpiece. It feels like he watched The Last Dance or something this summer. But he might have got a little bit of that grip from them Hall of Famers he played with over the summer as well. He's growing into his own. He's a father now. It's going to be fun to watch the Wolves. Not really a fan of Gobert, but this is definitely one of the teams I'm looking at in the West right now.
And, they're sitting at 2-1 right now. Their only loss coming to the Lakers, which the Lakers have even surprised us, I think. Close one against Sacramento. They ended up pulling out at the end, and they beat Toronto like they should. Julius Randle still needs time to kind of find his way. He had a great game in their second game against Toronto, went for like 33. So they're still working Julius in, but he'll find his way. I think when it's all said and done, that the Timberwolves will be the winners of this trade because you add in Dante DiVincenzo, and whether they end up keeping Julius Randle or trading him again for some other pieces, I think ultimately the T-Wolves made a step in another up with this trade. And it could work out for both teams.
You see him in the Western Conference Finals with this lineup?
I could see him getting there again. And you talked about the maturation of Ant. Kind of we got that glimpse into his the behind the scenes stuff with that starting five Netflix series, and then like you mentioned, the game he picked up in Paris. It should be fun this year to watch that next step from Anthony Edwards.
Most definitely, man. I can't wait.
First on my watch list is Dallas Mavericks. First off, I get it for the first couple games of the season, but after that, like, we don't have to mention Steph Curry every time we mention Klay Thompson. And he proved it in his debut, hitting the Mavs record in the debut, 6 threes, lighting it up. Luka knew they were going down before they hit the rim, before he shot it some of the times. They lost to the Suns.
Couldn't wait to do that as his teammate.
Right. They lost to the Suns in their second game, but the Suns looked good to start the year. Luka had 40 and 10 in that one. Kyrie had 22, 5, 3 steals. Klay had 19 in that game too. 22 in the first, 19 in the second game. But the others could have stepped it up against Phoenix at least. But if anything that we saw from that first game, just from the energy of Lively, PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford, the addition of Quentin Grimes, Najee Marshall as well on top of Klay Thompson, and bringing back Spencer Dinwiddie for some more playmaking, and hopefully he can find his shot that he couldn't find with the Lakers last year. I like how the Mavs look. I think they can get back to the Western Conference Finals as well.
I agree. I definitely agree. They're fun to watch as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And a gang of dogs on the team.
Absolutely. Who we got next?
A sleeper for sure. A team that I knew wasn't going to be doing well at the beginning of the season. The Bucks. I don't know if it was, I felt a bad taste in my mouth with Doc Rivers or Ham being his assistant, but I don't know what's going on. But I would love to see this team do well with Damian and Bobby Portis and the Greek Freak and everybody over there. But hopefully when Middleton gets back, they're doing better. But I'm still going to watch. I'm going to keep my eye on this team. And I love watching dominant players. And Greek Freak is that. Antetokounmpo is that. One of the most dominant to do it. So I'll be watching, but I'm hoping they can turn it around.
Yeah, and we talked about it a little bit before, like having that full offseason with Doc Rivers, I thought would add to progress. They went through 2 coaches last season, 3 kind of, if you think about it. But it just hasn't worked so far. And the fact that Giannis and Dame spent 0 time together in the offseason. I'm not saying like you got to be best friends and shit, but y'all got to get some time to get on the same page as the 2 best players on the team. And I was thinking about that, like you see all these players hooping in the summertime, but like how often do you see teammates hooping in the summertime? Like when did that stop happening? We used to take squads to the gym straight from practice. When does that stop, I guess?
Like, do they even kick it?
Right. Probably from the sounds of it, no.
That shit ain't gonna work, man. It's a brotherhood, man. If you want to get to the championship level, it's gonna take a lot more than that.
Yeah.
Your kids is playing with my kids, all that shit's going down.
Agreed. My sleeper also comes out of the Eastern Conference. The Orlando Magic. 2-1 to start the season in this first week. They beat the Heat and the Nets. Dropped the last game to the Grizzlies. I think Orlando is a team that can and is ready to build on last season. I call them a sleeper still, but only because they're still being slept on. Paolo's legit, averaging 21, 8, and 5 so far to start the year. The Wagner boys are both balling. I still don't understand how they got both of them on the same team and people just let that happen. Anthony Black's giving good minutes off the bench, scoring and playmaking, averaging like 10, 4, and 3. They added shooting, defense, and championship experience by adding one player in KCP. I just want to see how they match up against top teams in the East, mostly like the Bostons, the Phillies, even Milwaukee. Because I want to see what they look like against Giannis or Joel Embiid, or how this defensive squad matches up with the Boston Celtics, if they can give them any troubles. And they're a pretty deep team if you start looking up and down the roster, with Anthony Black and Cole Anthony coming off the bench, one of the Wagners off the bench, like Gary Harris. There's a squad over there in Orlando. I just want to see how they play against the top talent in their conference. They got the Pacers on Monday, so that should be a solid test to start the year from a team that exceeded expectations last year.
Yeah. One team I know is going to be a contender, the Suns, bro. That's my last team on this list. I'm impressed on what I've seen from last year to this year. They look like they've been fucking with each other, unlike the Bucks. They look like they fuck with each other. They like each other. Bradley Beal's looking more comfortable. The ball movement is insane. They know that they need to shoot threes to stay, in contention with this league. Fucking Booker's a fucking dog himself. KD just loves playing the game, and he looks like he feels good. His body's right. Like I said, and Bradley Beal, man, he's coming into his own and looking comfortable. And I don't know. I do like they picked up big man. What's his name again? Used to be a Nugget. Yeah, I like that they picked him up. It's a little bit of help for Nurkic's big ass. So I don't know. The Suns are going to be good. I don't see them having to worry about the play-in this year either.
And you talk about that big three of KD, Booker, and Beal. Like, obviously they need them to play well to get where they want to go. But I want to talk about Tyus Jones. I've been somebody that's ringing the bell since he went to the Wizards last season that he'd be a perfect fit for this Phoenix team. And so far, I want to toot my own horn, but I've been right. We even talked about it in the offseason how this was a great pickup, how he can kind of steady that ship. And that's exactly what Tyus Jones is steady. If you look at his games this season, the win over the Clippers in overtime, he had 11 points, 2 rebounds, 8 assists, a block, 2 steals, 0 turnovers. They lost to the Lakers, but he had 14, 2, and 4, a steal in that game, but he did have 3 turnovers, which is kind of an anomaly for Tyus Jones. And then the win over the Mavericks, only 8 points, but 5 rebounds, 7 assists, block, steals, 0 turnovers. So he got steady the ship, making something happen in every facet of the game. Has a block or a steal. There's one of the games where they had 7 different players record a steal, and 6 get a block. Like,
they got one of the best roles. They got one of the best. They got one of the deepest teams in the league, I think, bro.
They definitely helped themselves from last season and steadying that point guard position and not putting all the playmaking on Bradley Beal or Devin Booker.
You got O'Neal out there, Grayson Allen,
giving you good minutes. Yeah, for sure. Old Bowles out getting some tick.
It's a nice team.
They got the Lakers again Monday at home, so we'll see which one of these teams continues to build off of that. The last team on my list of the favorites in the West, if you ask me, is the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're one of 4 teams still undefeated in the NBA, along with the Celtics, the Cavs, and the Lakers. The Warriors lost their first game tonight. I love what they're doing. Coach Dagnall has these guys focused, building off of last year. They exceeded expectations, I think, to us last year, but they didn't do what they wanted to do at all last season, according to them.
For sure.
You know what you're getting from Shea, but Chet looks like he's taking being the number 2 guy seriously. He's been more aggressive. He's been protecting the rim. One problem you can see against the Nuggets is that size is still going to kind of kind of be his downfall. As Chuck said, he's lighting the cakes. But that 1-2 punch, that can be consistent of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Chet Holmgren, is going to be a problem for the league all year. And this is a team that lost Trey Mann, and he's been balling for the Hornets. But you add Alex Caruso, and that seems to have paid off so far. The bright-skinned man hasn't even played yet.
All right.
Adding in Hartenstein, a bigger dude that, again, can match up with those bigger bodies, even Al Horford with Anthony Davis and
his fast as shit for how tall he is.
And Sabonis and these bigger teams out in the West, to match him and Chet up together, it'll be a problem offensively. On the offensive boards especially, Hartenstein is all over the boards, can pass out of the post. That movement they have with Oklahoma City, they're fun as hell to watch so far this year too. What I do want to see from them though is I want to see a healthy Thunder versus a healthy Celtics. Just a regular season matchup to kind of see where the Thunder match up. We watched the Nuggets were the only team that took both games from the Celtics last year. For the problems they gave them size-wise, and with the size and speed in Oklahoma City, I wanted to see just, in I think the first time they'll match up is January 5th. Just to see how those guys match up against the champs, because the Thunder are an extremely deep team as well. So I just want to see kind of whose bench gives first, or where they are according to the measuring stick so far this season.
Absolutely, man. I love watching them play too, brother. Caruso out there. Dort is probably one of my favorite players on the team. And Chet, bro. Y'all better not sleep on Chet, man. He looks like he's one of the most physical players in the league.
You want to talk about players that fuck with each other? You look at every post-game interview after these wins. They introduced the world to Alex Caruso on Thursday night. Right. Brought him in post-game, had him doing the dog bark. So, everybody on that team fucks with each other. They got 6 guys doing post-game interviews.
They could win a championship real soon, and a lot of it is that camaraderie, man.
Absolutely. That's it for the B list, our new installment here on B2B. Now let's talk about some players missing time to start this year. Let's start off with Kawhi Leonard. Of course he's missing the year. They made this big, we've talked about it. We talked about it before, that the Clippers backed him going to Paris and playing in the Olympics. The Olympic Committee took one look at him and was like, "You're not ready to play. We're going to take Derek White." And now this is indefinite. It's not like he's coming back, for their games this week or anything. You don't know when Kawhi Leonard's coming back. And now there's this thing, I don't know if you've seen, but one of the trainers was fired because he originally gave a 760, a 2-year timetable for Kawhi Leonard's knee. 760 days, he'll be good to go. The Clippers allegedly, I don't know if this is what the lawsuit says. The Clippers, he's suing for wrongful termination. The Clippers thought that was unacceptable. Fired dude, what? 2 years? You're stupid, and fired him.
He might need that though.
Right.
He might need 2 years, bro. I know the time is against him, but if the knee ain't right, the knee ain't right, man. And the knee ain't been right, it seemed like.
It ain't been right or left. PG and Embiid both out with knee injuries as well. They also have extensive injury histories. Obviously, the Sixers don't want to rush them back. But from even what we saw, they pulled it out tonight in overtime against the Pacers. But Tyrese ain't going to be able to do it all year by himself.
No, but he's going to be a hell of a player after this.
Absolutely. He run him through the mud a little bit, go through the fire, and then these guys hopefully come back right, and these Sixers can make a run. Some people got hurt in game, first 2 games of the season. DeJounte Murray went down with a fractured left hand. I know that hurt your fantasy team. And he balled out in the 30 minutes he got in that first game. 14, 8, and 10 in 30 minutes.
He's a fucking baller, bro. Yeah.
And that was an off shooting night. He was 4 for 15 from the field. It's his offhand. It's just a fracture. It's not a clean break. So He'll be back sooner than later. There was no timetable last I checked.
In the glove.
James Wiseman, former number 2 pick from the Warriors, tore his Achilles and is done for the year. He was a Pacer this season. Of these injuries so far this year and to start the year, who do you think will hurt their team the most by missing out?
Kawhi Leonard for sure. I mean, I loved watching him play, man. Especially as a Spur. When I was watching him play as a Spur, I thought he was going to be the next Kobe. I thought this was going to be the next player that I'm watching after Kobe retires. But, you know, after all these, you got to feel bad for the Clippers, man. Like, I mean, they got James Harden trying to make something happen, but having that new arena with nothing to fill it with is shitty. And exactly the West is tough, man.
I say Kawhi too. It could be PG or Embiid, but as long as you can get one of those two guys to run with Maxey, they could be okay and still be in the upper tier of the Eastern Conference. But James Harden can't be your main guy anymore. That's just not what it is. And you mentioned the new arena. They were only like 60 or 75% capacity for that opening game, but they ended up losing.
They're gonna have a losing record in that bitch.
Yeah, so if you can't fill the arena with James Harden, I don't know how you're gonna win a title with him. I don't know how much dancing Ballmer's gonna be doing this season, but
and it's weird. That lawsuit is just weird to me. Like, are they just pissed off that he said that, or
it said that they felt the timeline was unacceptable.
It is unacceptable for everybody, but what are you fucking supposed to do? It ain't hit. It's not that dude's knee.
You get another doctor.
And what they gonna do? Try to get him in this year? It sounds like
they're gonna give more the answer they want. Exactly. Yeah. You've seen it from some of those docu-series where players used to get shot up or something, or they'd be like, "Oh, the injury's not that bad." The player's begging to play. Like, there's all sorts of things.
Just trading, an injured player around too without letting them know about the injury is a whole other thing too, man. Like,
can't even trade them like that.
Yeah.
On to players on new teams. Let's start off with Karl Anthony Towns. What do you think? What do you see so far? How do you feel this Karl Anthony Towns in New York is going to work out?
I feel like they wanted a big man that shoots to free up the lane for smaller dudes to get in there and get their 15-footers and close to the bucket shit off. Cat can't just be focused on that, bro. He's got to go to the rim like we seen him do in the playoffs last year. You know, time and time again, you need to take control of the team. Know why they got you here and know what you've been for a team before the Anthony Edwards showed up, and just ball out.
Why was he doing that in the playoffs?
Balling.
But why was it happening?
I don't know.
Anthony Edwards was telling him to get his big. Anthony Edwards and Michael Conley were telling him to get his big ass in the paint and do something with it.
Fucking get to the rim, bro. I'm telling you.
In game 1 against the Celtics, all he's doing is standing out there shooting, trying to get shots off.
Right.
Get your ass in the paint, dog. There was how long was Drew Holiday guarding Karl Anthony Towns in that game against the Celtics?
That's disrespectful. You do that to me in a game, bro, I'm going to the cup time and time again, and that frees up the jumper for you.
Give it here.
Yes. And I'm a box.
Come here. Give me this. Like, you got 9-10 inches on Drew Holiday.
And somebody on the bench, a coach, a player coach, somebody need to be saying this to him. You ain't gonna have the OG Conley in the country AE telling you.
Exactly.
You gotta just have them in your head, man, and play, bro. Just play.
Well, let's go to the other side of this trade. What do you think about the Wolves picking up Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo?
I like DiVincenzo. I don't know where Julius Randle is mentally. I don't know if he's checked in or out yet. We'll see. But DiVincenzo is going to play with a chip on the shoulder.
Yeah.
He's going to show, and he's going to show every team that takes him what he does. He's going to play well. He's played well everywhere he's been. So he's going to just keep continuing on that train, and this team can make a run in the playoffs as well.
We'll
see where Julius is at. I don't know how much I like Julius's game either, but he doesn't look mentally checked in yet.
That's 25 and 10, 11 right there. You know what I mean? Before he went down last year, that's 25, 10, 11, and he'll get down on the block and work down there. But
that's why that was the trade.
That's why I think even if they keep Julius Randle, if he can get his head right, it was a good trade because you still have Gobert locking up the paint defensively, but you got somebody offensively and defensively that can work inside and out as well. If Julius Randle locks down on defense, there's no drop off on that end of the court, and he's a more versatile scorer than Karl Anthony Towns. Not at this point.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Chris Paul in San Antonio so far? You get to catch much of that?
I haven't caught any of it really, but I just like the thought of it, knowing what Chris Paul does for big men and seeing what Wemby had to go through last year. I just like the thought of having an able and willing veteran.
Yeah, and they're 1-1 to start the year. 7 rebounds, 8 assists in that first game against Dallas, but only 3 points.
There to score. Well, actually, he is.
And then only 3 points, 9 assists in the game against the Rockets. Wemby struggled in the first game. He played much better in the second game. He's averaging 3 blocks a game so far, 29 and 7 in that second one. But if you look at this roster, even with adding a guy like Harrison Barnes, Jeremy Sohan seems to be playing pretty well so far. Keldon Johnson off the bench.
Yeah,
you still need 10 to 13 out of Chris Paul. 3 points isn't going to work.
Yeah, same thing with Russell in the West. I need both of them to score more. I need at least 10 out of both of them.
We talked a little bit about DeMar DeRozan being in Sacramento now. They're 0-2, lost 2 close ones. The overtime loss to Minnesota, and then the one that LeBron took from him on Saturday night.
Yep.
I think like this will turn out to be a smart decision for DeMar DeRozan to go to.
I was gonna say.
I don't know if that necessarily means championship because of how good the Western Conference is and how good the Celtics are, but they could make a deep playoff run in the next couple of years, if not this year.
There's got to click more. DeMar just got to find his role and his footing a little more in the organization. Looks like he's spreading out his game a little more with the deep threes too. He gets the shot up fast and he can get it to the rim deep. And I like to keep seeing him shoot those jumpers. De'Aaron Fox looks like I don't know. I need more out of him as well.
Well, and DeMar DeRozan shoots a pretty good percentage from 3. He just doesn't shoot a lot of them. So him being more willing to shoot, just like we talked about with the Lakers opening it up a little bit more.
I thought it was
keeping guys honest, holding that 3 a little bit more is definitely a good look. We talked about Russ as well. Like, just it doesn't seem like he fits so far. I think it's as simple as a lineup change. I don't know if you agree with that, but I think inserting him into the starting lineup and kind of being the engine for the rest of those guys would suit him and them better than coming off the bench.
Yeah,
get a rhythm with those guys and start the game. I think that's an easy fix, but what do I know?
I say try it. Can't hurt to try it early in the season. You saw the standing O he got from just coming in off the bench. Just announce him loud as fuck when he starts, and you might see a different Russ.
I think that's it. So of those guys, who do you think makes the biggest difference for this team, both short term and long term?
I think DeMar, bro. I think he just got to find his way and find his veteran presence on this team a little more. And I think this Sacramento team could be tough with the addition of DeMar. DeMar, I say it. DeMar, I don't like it.
I kind of agree with you, but to me, most of these are short-term moves. Outside of Julius Randle and Karl Anthony Towns, Dante DiVincenzo, those 3 guys, the rest of these guys are kind of at the end of their careers, DeMar included. Klay Thompson doesn't have 5-7 years left in the league. Russell Westbrook's on the tail end. Chris Paul doesn't have but a couple years left at the most. So I say
one more for CP3.
With that being said, I think Short term, Klay Thompson makes the biggest difference. And this is for a team that made it to the NBA Finals last year. They got a lot of people would say they got kind of lucky with the matchups on their way to the finals. But even so, they made it there. A lot of those guys that hadn't been in championships got a lot of experience. And we talked about the additions outside of Klay Thompson with Najee Marshall, Quentin Grimes, and then bringing back Dinwiddie. You're adding more shooting and more defense, more playmaking. Even with the West getting better, I think that Dallas got better as well. And because we don't know about Julius Randle, they're the toughest challenge for the Oklahoma City Thunder in the Western Conference, to me. Long term, it comes down to the Minnesota-New York trade, because those would be more long-term impactful moves, because they're younger players. Like I said before, I think the Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo side of it ends up being the winning side of that trade. I see DiVincenzo being a piece with Anthony Edwards for a long time, and whether Julius Randle stays in Minnesota or they find a way to move him for picks or one or two other impactful players to fill in some spots they need on the roster, getting out of the Karl Anthony Towns business, I think, makes you the winner of the trade.
Interesting. We'll see, though.
We will. On to some other things around the NBA, man. I don't know if you've seen some of this noise about possible rule changes in the NBA, but there's three different ones they're kind of focusing on. The first one, and some of these will be tested out in the G League. The first one is, how you see a lot of players not take that shot at the end of quarters, like the first through third quarter, just those long court heaves because they don't want to fuck up their shooting percentage. They're going to test a rule that any shot at the end of the quarter, in the first through third quarters, won't count against your shooting percentage. So, for instance, say like when you get fouled going up for a layup and that doesn't count on your field goal percentage unless you make it, it just counts as a make. Right. It'll be essentially like that for those full court. It's 36 feet or further in the last 3 seconds of the first three quarters.
Yeah, they want to see people shoot them. I mean,
why not?
Even after the clock, the camera follows the ball to the rim.
Exactly. It still ends up top play sometimes too. So that's one of the rules that they'll be workshopping. Another one is changes to the free throw setup. So instead of shooting like 2 free throws when you get shot, get fouled on a 2-pointer, threes for a 3-pointer, everything would be one shot, but they'd be worth different amounts of points. So say I hit you, you go for a layup, you miss, you get fouled, you shoot once, but it's worth 2 points. We hit a pick and pop, I hit it to you get fouled on a 3, you shoot once, but it's 3 points.
Weird. I don't like that one at all.
The third.
Remember when they changed the free throw, the stance where you used to be lower on the block and then they spread it up a little bit higher? It was around like 2000, maybe 8 or 9. Everybody, they were lower on the block and under the rim a little more, and everybody shifted up a little more.
The third possible rule change is how overtime would work. So instead of the 5 minutes, it would be kind of like an Elam ending, like they were doing with the All-Star game. It would be the first team to 7, no time limit. You like any of these rules?
I don't like the middle one. I could kind of get with the half court. I could definitely get with the half court heave, and maybe with the 7-point OT.
So you hate the free throw rule?
Hate the free throw rule.
I don't like that one either. I like the end of the quarter, the heave rule. That just makes sense to me because so I looked at some stats, and I got all these from Whistle Sports or BlazersEdge.com. That missing one shot doesn't really mess up your shooting percentage that much, but those over the course of a season can add up to 25 extra misses. So that can come into play when guys are talking about, percentage bonuses and little incentives here and there to come in with shooting percentage. So why some of these guys don't take shots, like Kyle Kuzma said something about it before, and a couple other players. So that would get rid of that fear. And like you mentioned, even when it's a little after the buzzer, even when they miss, even when a team's getting their ass beat and they throw one up and it goes in, that's exciting. I like to watch it. So like, why not add that excitement into the game with a little less risk and incentive for the players to take those shots in the fourth quarter? They're not going to make that rule, because if you're taking that shot in the fourth quarter, it obviously means something. But for the first 3 quarters, I think it's a good rule.
I like it. That's one they could put in right now.
Right. Leave free throws alone. It's fine. I don't think you need to mess with that too much.
Yeah, people are gonna fucking debate that shit when it comes to close games and shit.
Like, leave that alone. And then I don't like the 7 points either. Like, I even prefer it, like, them to add a minute to overtime, so it's actually half of a quarter. But that'll never happen. So I leave the 5 minutes. Like, I want all the hoop possible, because you can see 7 points ain't shit. You can see guys going a 13-4 run and switch the game around, and the whole thing changes. Like, you don't get that opportunity when you're keeping it at 7 points. You know what I mean? So I think that takes away. I know they're trying to like shorten the games or make them quicker, like they're doing in the NFL and baseball and all of that. But that takes away some of the excitement for me.
Absolutely.
Do you have any rules? Like, have you thought of any things that you would want to implement into the NBA that would change things up a little bit?
I thought you were going to say that they would count the half court heave or something as more points.
I thought that's what I was going to read when I saw that the first time.
But I don't think there's any rules that I'd want to see implemented. I know in the WNBA, I'd like to see the rim lowered.
You just want dunks?
I just want to see more dunks. The game would still be good. It'd probably be better.
I don't know how I feel about it. It'd be weird watching 9-foot hoops. Watching 9-foot hoops on television is weird. Maybe 9.5.
They could probably alter it somehow.
I don't know. One thing that I've thought about for a long time actually is assists when it comes to free throw shooting. You know what I mean? So like, say again, I hit you going to the bucket, you get the layup, you miss, you get fouled, right? You make the first free throw, I think, because if you don't get fouled and you make that layup, I get an assist. So I think if you hit that first free throw, I get half an assist. You get the second one, I get the second half. I get a full assist if you make both free throws.
I wouldn't be mad at that.
I think that's a solid idea. It could get kind of weird when you get to 3-point shooting, but I think I figured that out too. So it's just, if you have to make the first one to get the half an assist, but you have to make all of the free throws on that trip to the free throw line to get a full assist. So if you make the first one on a 3-point, like if you get fouled shooting a 3, if you make the first one, you get half an assist. If you miss the second one, you don't even shoot the third. Oh, I guess you still shoot it because you get the point. If you miss the second one, but you make the third one, you don't get that other half an assist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like it. I do think that they changed the out of bounds on the top of the backboard rule too. Like if it's on the front of the backboard, it's still in bounds.
That's right. I'm not mad at that either.
Yeah.
On to the WNBA. October 20th is now officially Liberty Day in New York City. The champs were also presented with the key to the city, which is a much better look than the last person they gave it to. That would be Diddy. They had to go ahead and take that back. And we'll get into Diddy on the news. We're getting to Diddy news on further episodes. A lot of shit has happened since we've recorded anything. More suits filed, more crazy shit happening, more allegations, more, and it's wild. So people are going to start getting named soon. It should be interesting to see. But on back to the WNBA, Game 5 of the finals, the clinching game for the Liberty, ended up being the most watched game in WNBA history. Peaked at 3.3 million viewers. Was 142% increase over last year's Game 4. The Aces beat the Liberty. So just shout out to women's basketball, really.
Most definitely, man. Going up.
The Unrivaled League, the 3-on-3 league that Brianna Stewart and Nafisa Collier founded, got a TNT media deal. So we got more hoop coming to the screens in January. They picked that up. See it in the shoe news, dog.
Did you see the commercial for the LeBron or the ad for the LeBron 22 release?
Actually, no.
It was dope, man. It was basically the shoe sitting on top of one of those smash machines, and the press machines. And what was under the press machine? There was a little Raptor toy, and there was a little Celtic toy. And then what are those things called? The sand timer things?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically he's crushing one of those. Basically saying fuck time and all that. But I thought it was a cool ad. The shoe looks legit. Another mid. I'm glad he got away from them big bulkies. He did it again. The Deuce.
I like how the swoosh is kind of like melted into the rest of the silhouette.
The sole, yeah. I
don't think Nike's ever like not full swooshed. So to not have a full swoosh there and when it kind of fades into the rest of that black part there, yeah, I like how they did that.
There's gonna be some cool colorways coming, man. He's pressing the envelope. Also, our guy Connect 4 gets signed to the Jordan brand.
Nice.
Can't wait to see what the shoes are looking like. Is he just gonna be an athlete that just rocks the shoes? It'd be cool to see some OGs come out back on the court. What do you think?
They are releasing the Mellow 12s.
That'd be fire. It'd be cool to see a hoop style shoe though. It could look just like it. It could look just like the 3. But if it's functional to play on the court, you switch up the bottom sole. I don't know what they gotta do. But to see these shoes come back onto the court would be legit.
They put like a little Connect 4 thing somewhere on the shoe. Are we going to get that? Or is it going to be like a 4 made out of Connect 4 pieces? How's that going to happen?
It depends. It depends on what his first and second season are looking like, dog. We will see if we get an actual Connect 4 shoe, bro.
I bet he just wears Luka's.
He's definitely going to wear Luka's. He can't wear Tatum's. Nope. He better know. Somebody better tell him.
You rocking Luka's.
But that's awesome. I love the way he's been hooping. Can't wait to see what he brings out on the court.
Absolutely. Shout out Angel Reese too, extending her Reebok contract, which will now include a signature shoe in 2026.
It's gonna be fire. Sorry, I just remembered my L of the week, dog.
We're not there yet. Last Friday's been confirmed again.
For real, huh?
Well, Ice Cube was on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast with Gillian Wallow.
And he was making his runs lately.
Yeah, and he was asked about the franchise returning. He talked about making sure that he said it's coming back. They want to make sure that it's funny. They want to make sure they bring in new characters, celebrate original characters, even pay homage to some that aren't with us anymore. All things he said before, really. But something that made me a little more confident that it's actually going to happen this time is what he said after that. What he said was, people love Friday because everyone experienced it. People love Friday because everybody's lived Friday. Hanging out with the homies, with their friends, with their cousins, trying to figure out what they're going to do today, just tripping off the neighborhood. It's so relatable in that way because everyone has lived 1,000 Fridays. And it hit me because he sounded a little more passionate than he's just like saying, yeah, we're just still waiting on getting the rights back. Somebody else owns it, the studio. Like he gets into like what Friday means. So that to me, it means that like it's in the front of his mind and it's something that's actually like getting pushed.
It's gonna be a motherfucking masterpiece.
But enough of the confirmations. Like give me Last Friday begins filming. Give me that update. Like, I don't want to hear like it's confirmed again. Like, give me a script has been written, they're in production, filming is underway. Last Friday's happening. Like, that's when I'm ready for it. Skip me about the rest of these confirmations.
Vision production.
So we shall see, man. Let's get into what you're listening to, man. Little segment with what we got in the speakers in those headphones.
What you listening to?
Well, somehow today I was door dashing, driving around doing them deliveries, and I usually do like podcasts, but on the weekend I just bump music. I bumped a lot of October London today, who I hadn't really dug into too deep. R&B cat. Listened to a couple of the joints he did with Snoop, like Mulholland Drive was dope. Coming Back was cool. A couple of his others, like She Keeps Calling and Roller Coaster. Like, dude's dope. I knew of October London, heard him a couple times, but I listened to a lot more than I had in the past today. And I'm fucking with October London. Next up, though, next time I get behind the wheel is the new Earth Gang project, Perfect Fantasy.
Okay.
And they got like this old school feel from like when they were back in the day coming up playing video games and shit. They got old school, like they said they came up listening to the clips and like grinding to an iconic beat. I don't know what it sounds like yet, but I know they got a couple of Pharrell beats on there that were Neptune beats before him and Chad started beefing. But they're like they asked specifically for old Neptunes type style. So with the old count, the old 4 count, all that stuff in there. So it'll be interesting to hear what Pharrell ended up doing on the album. Snoop's on there, T-Pain's on the album as well.
I heard they're doing this one independent too.
Yeah. No Dreamville artists on the project. They're still Dreamville artists though. I heard them on the Breakfast Club talking about it the other day.
That's fine.
Then Jadakiss has announced a new album, be his first solo project since 2020's Ignatius. I'm excited for new Jadakiss. What about you?
Nothing new, man. Nothing new. I'm still listening to Forever Going In, Rich Homie Quan's new album, Moneybag Yo, and Big X The Plug. Still listening to that shit in the gym. Yeah, that's been what I've been listening to in the gym and in the barbershop, and I will be venturing this week to see if there's anything new out there. Oh, actually, my bad. Benny the Butcher dropped a if you will, an EP. I'm not sure how many songs. It wasn't that many, but I only listened to it one straight through during the gym session, and it was fire. A lot of boom bap, a lot of just straight lyrical ability. Benny does it again.
I'm a Griselda fan. I like those guys.
Hell yeah.
All right, you got any L's? I guess you already laughed about it. So you got just the one?
Just the one, man.
Got two.
Not Dwayne Wade, but Dwayne Wade's statue. I don't know if they just can't get statue faces right.
No.
Is that what it is? Why they get MJ so good?
I mean, first off, well deserved. He earned the statue.
No hate to Dwayne Wade. Yes, well deserved.
They got the "This Is My House" pose. They got all the accolades behind them. Mm-hmm. Cool. The unveiling was dope. All the smoke, all the stuff, that was cool.
Yep. Wonderful family in attendance. The unboxing was legit. Some heat, if you will, with the fire flames in the back.
But the face.
But who is that guy? He even said it. Who is that guy?
They got him looking like when Martin got beat up by Tommy Hitman Hearns.
Yeah.
Like, and you could tell it's bad because of how D Wade was looking at it. He was walking around kind of pacing, nodding back and forth, sizing it up, looking it up and down. You never see him like cheesing about it. Like, he's excited to have a statue, as you should be. Who wouldn't be?
Cheered up.
He's not excited. He's not excited about how that shit looked.
I don't know if you could be excited about the way it looks. It's just you got to be cool with it, honoring you, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it feels like the statue people like, listen, we all know it's you. But we won't be able to get the face exactly right. Like, I feel like they tell them before, so your face isn't gonna be exactly your face.
It looks like Art D Wade, but then they also wanted to like honor Udonis Haslem and Chris Bosh too, so they just gave them all one face.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it was.
And LeBron's jaw. Big ass jaw put on that thing.
Yeah, that was one of my L's too. My other L is for Joel Embiid. For saying out loud that he probably won't play back-to-backs. Like, we all know this probably wasn't just like a Joel Embiid decision. The coaches, the trainers, and people probably all had a conversation and talked about all of this. Especially,
he never said nothing.
You know about his injury history, so like you could think about it and it kind of makes sense. You can see where it's coming from, but you can't say it. Don't say it out loud.
Now it's like on some whole shit for real.
Everybody fucking ripped him for it, and well deserved. Now it looked bad just saying he probably wouldn't play back-to-backs. It looks worse when LeBron James, who's in year 22, has nothing left to prove, plans on playing all 82 games.
It does look worse when a 45-year-old man is saying he's playing all 82, but they're not the same body type, bro. You know this.
Go ahead and hold this, Joel Embiid. Bully of the week.
Wrong body type.
Bully of the week.
The man you just brought up, the King, 32-point triple-double against the Kings. Turns it on in the second half. Turns it on in the fourth. Fucking 40-something years old. He'll be 40 in the playoffs.
Did you see that clip that supposedly had LeBron audio when he was saying, "Give me the fucking ball"?
Yeah.
Was that real?
I've said some crazy shit during the game too.
I made fucking 10 in a row. Y'all want to shoot a fucking turnaround? Fuck out of here! Like what? I just didn't know if it was real. That's just funny though. I knew LeBron would be your bully of the week, so I got a different one. Jaden Daniels. Game on the line. No time on the clock. Playing with a rib injury. Hail Mary. The way he was able to buy himself time, I saw, was it 16 seconds he was back there? Scrambling, getting around, not getting touched, had all the time in the fucking world. Launches the ball in the end zone. Everybody jumps for it, and it just seemed to like drop into Noah Brown's hands in the end zone. Behind all the players that jumped for the ball, he was untouched, blocked, open, dropped in his hands. Walk-off win for the Commanders, who are exceeding everybody's expectations. In turn, there's also another L involved with this, and that's for myself, because Jaden Daniels and Puka Nacua were both injured, so I was like, no, let's leave him on the bench this week. Let him heal up. Go ahead. You'll be fine. So I keep them on the bench, and I play fucking Jordan Love, who goes out with an injury, and fucking bitch-ass Devontae Adams, who plays for the Jets, and that's his biggest problem.
Yes, sir.
That congratulations for that win you got handed.
Thank you very much.
If I'd have played them, I'd have dusted your ass. I just want that to be clear. But shout out Patrick Mahomes. Best Patrick Mahomes game I got because I had him in this week. Shout out. It'd
have been a better game if you played those guys, but I don't know if you'd have busted my ass.
Busted your ass if I'd have played those guys.
I don't know, bro. I put up some points this week, man.
Yeah, so did I. I had like a 73% chance of winning until Jordan Love got hurt.
I don't know, dog.
Anyway, that's the show.
I don't know, dog. I went crazy though. Hey, man, I'm 6-2 now. Mack Truck lost this week. Epic lost this week. I look like I'm about to take this motherfucking dog.
Go ahead, get excited. Get excited. It'll be even sweeter when you fall.
Chill out, bro. I'm still working on my basketball ones to get up there, but it's slow the first couple.
You want to talk about that?
I just did.
I got you over there.
I just did.
Got you over there.
We'll be back. I start slow. We seeing it right now. I'm about to be number one in our football league. Now I gotta, I got to be a good team manager, a good GM for my basketball rosters, man. We gonna figure out. Don't worry.
I love how excited you are, and that I get to be the person to ruin this at the end of the season.
What you think? Football season? Think you gonna ruin this one?
Both of them. I win. Is what I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, tune in. We will see. But together we are B to B. I am CB with Bullies, Cuts, and Styles, here with EB of In My Bag Apparel. Please like, share, comment, and always tune in. Oh yeah, EB, what you watching? What you watching on TV? You watching anything good?
Right now, man, it's a lot of basketball. I'm just so excited.
Basketball. I just started watching Hard Knocks. I'm watching the Chicago Bears Hard Knocks right now. It's pretty fucking legit.
You watched the Giants one?
Say that again?
You watched the Giants one?
No, I'm about to watch all of them now.
The Giants one was in the preseason, so it was before the Chicago one takes place.
Okay.
And it goes into the whole thought process and the letting Saquon Barkley go. Is the first couple of episodes.
Nice.
Crazy.
I can't wait for that. I think there's a Eagles one.
The access they gave to the whole thing when it came to Saquon Barkley in the draft and all of these things is wild. Like how much behind the scenes stuff you can see from the Giants. Like I don't know if they do that one again, but it was cool to see.
Yeah, I'm liking it. It's making me more of a fan of a lot of players on these rosters. Also, the new Ink Master. I just watched the first episode of that. It's pretty good too.
Good to know. I need to get on that. I've been watching
old school versus new school.
A lot of Survivor still. I'm waiting on you or T to send in your video so I can watch y'all on Survivor.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Waiting for you to do that.
Coming to an island away from you.
Other than that, I've been playing 2K too. Just playing 2K.
Hell yeah, man. Shout out to new Call of Duty as well. We gonna have to do some game reviews on here sometime.
Yeah, man. In the meantime, you can find us at B2B_pod, B2B on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. You can find me at InMy_Bag 2023 in the brand as well. You can find my brother there at CB DaBully on all of those platforms as well. We'll have them also. You'll probably see them right here as I'm saying them. So if you can read, you'll figure it out. But once again, like, follow, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend, tell an enemy. I don't care. Thank you.